A tragedy shook America, but what followed exposed Hollywood in ways no one expected. On September 10th, the news of Charlie Kirk's assassination sent shockwaves across the nation. People mourned, supporters rallied, and a wave of compassion poured in from every corner of the country. Families who had never met him sent letters, strangers offered comfort, and countless communities came together to honor his name. It was the kind of grief that felt raw and unifying, cutting across borders and reminding people of their shared humanity. But amid this collective mourning, a different current began to flow. Not everyone was willing to show empathy. Some chose mockery, others turned the tragedy into a political football. And a handful of high-profile voices twisted the story into something darker. What began as national grief quickly morphed into a cultural flashpoint. And the loudest voices weren't politicians. They were Hollywood celebrities. Stephen King, always sharp with words, jumped in with commentary that left people stunned. Sonny Holland chimed in with jabs that many found tasteless. But none made more noise than Robert De Niro. He didn't just comment, he politicized, he mocked, and he turned the spotlight away from grief and onto Donald Trump, blaming policies and pointing fingers while the Kirk family was still burying their son. For De Niro, this wasn't new territory. He had already developed a reputation for unfiltered tirades, particularly during the 2024 election season. Who could forget the moment he stood in front of a live crowd, cursing out half the country on camera? To many, that was the point where his career began to crumble. Projects slowed, studios hesitated, and what once felt like a golden legacy began to feel fragile. Instead of pulling back, he doubled down. And when the Kirk tragedy struck, he used it as yet another springboard for his politics. The backlash was immediate. Apple Studios, once eager to work with him, cut ties overnight. They didn't just replace him on the Mob Boss project, an ambitious story about a crime figure re-emerging after decades. They canceled the entire film. Every deal attached to him was scrapped, every collaboration dissolved. For an actor once seen as untouchable, it was a shocking fall. Behind the scenes, whispers confirmed what many suspected. De Niro wasn't just losing roles, he was losing the last shreds of Hollywood's patience. The irony? Even before this, the cracks were already visible. Earlier in the year, The Alto Knights, a Warner Brothers release, had bombed at the box office, raising serious doubts about his draw. Industry insiders admitted the Kirk controversy was simply the final straw. After Apple's decision, Warner Brothers showed no interest in reviving ties. Other projects, more than 5 across different studios, slipped quietly into limbo. His name had become a liability in boardrooms, and audiences noticed too. Fans who once adored his classics, The Godfather Part 2, Raging Bull, now struggled to separate the roles from the man. Many admitted they couldn't sit through his films without hearing the political rants. Some said they simply turned the channel. For someone who once defined an era of acting, the shift was brutal. Still, De Niro didn't retreat. Even as his team begged him to step back, even as the backlash mounted, he kept hammering his message. Reports suggested he was already planning another round of attacks on Trump supporters at upcoming events, a move that insiders warned could bury his reputation completely. Yet, in his mind, he seemed unwilling or unable to stop. And the fallout wasn't his alone. Mark Hamill, once beloved for his legendary role, found himself in the same storm. His film, The Long Walk, backed by Lionsgate, flopped spectacularly, with critics pointing to his endless stream of anti-Trump commentary as a shadow hanging over the release. Stephen King's remarks kept headlines swirling. Whoopi Goldberg and Sonny Holland faced mounting criticism for turning interviews into partisan speeches. The names varied, but the pattern was the same. Hollywood once thrived on illusion. Audiences believed in the characters, the magic, the screen. But when the curtain rips away and politics takes center stage, the illusion dies. The more celebrities turned their grief, their platforms, and their interviews into political battlefields, the more exhausted audiences became. What should have been a moment of unity turned into another battlefield in America's culture war. And that's what makes this bigger than one man. Robert De Niro's downfall isn't just about one rant, one role, or one canceled project. It's about an industry that seems incapable of pulling back from its obsession with politics. Each outburst widens the gap, each feud alienates audiences further, and each career caught in the storm is another reminder of how fragile reputations can be when art and ideology collide. So, what do you think? Has Hollywood finally crossed a line that can't be walked back? Or is this simply the new normal we all have to accept? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. And if you want more stories peeling back the curtain on Hollywood's messiest dramas, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out the next video waiting on your screen.